Glorious summer weather was ordered for heroes running of the 2018 summer trial, and that's what we got as the crews descended on the gleaming Casa Hotel in Chesterfield. But what was it that had attracted newcomers to the event?
My husband said I had to.
We thought it would be fun.
We thought it would be a lovely experience to enjoy the countryside together.
This is the third one we've done, but this is a new car for us for this year, so we'll see how we get on.
What brings you back?
Fun. And the desire to get a bit better.
We have no expectations really. Try and work out what to do, try not to make too many mistakes, and see how we get on really. Yeah.
Headlights, full beam, spotlights.
Last year's summer trial was our first one, and that was just for us to practice for the Rally Vitesse because we are not so experienced yet. Different driving than in Holland, different navigating, lots of angularities for it, which are very nice.
A lot of tests.
And a lot of tests, it's nice for him. So we learn a lot, both of us. Yeah, it's nice.
We've rallied since 1986, and not many of this type of rally. We do what we call regularity rallies, which are just working to tulips. So we don't normally know where we're going. I don't know usually where I've been.
This is only my third sort of national event, but my parents rallied in the 50s and 60s, so I finally got round to taking on the family mantle, and hopefully Mum will be out on Saturday cheering us on along the way.
053939.
Yeah.
39.
We've always fancied the idea of having a go. We borrowed the car from the Royal Automobile Club, but it was suggested that as this was our first outing, why don't we borrow it and have a go? So that's how we're here.
This is a 1933 Aston Martin Le Mans, which is great fun to drive. And at the moment the horn won't work, so slight frustration, but we'll get it going.
Hang on, Dilwyn.
I think this is the fourth year I've done it. It's a good event, like all hero events, you know, I thoroughly enjoy them. Let's hope the weather stays good for us.
Businessman and rally enthusiast Steve Perez kindly accommodated elements of the summer trial at his home. Walton Lodge was also where scrutineering would take place, amongst his own extraordinary collection of rally machinery.
Well, it's great here, isn't it? It's a lovely building for it. It's not raining, and we've got some lovely cars to look at. And actually, we had a very knowledgeable scrutineer. Whilst a bit more demanding, at least it gives you more confidence in the car itself. The car is a '74 Porsche 911 Carrera. Originally an American car that was raced over there, and we did the Rally of the Tests and the Hero Challenge last year as its first event, and this is its third event.
This is our first rally. We've never done one before, and we've sailed together before, and we're quite a good navigator and captain, so we thought we'd give this a go instead. The secret is not necessarily about speed, it's about making sure that you're accurate in getting, following the tulip maps and being in the right place.
So we think we've got the hang of it so far. We've managed to get here.
So we've only done about 5 miles.
And then you have a TF, which is test finish. They're all relatively logical.
Clerk of the Course Guy Woodcock takes novice crews in hand with a special briefing to enlighten our newcomers to the sometimes mysterious world of regularity rallying. Traditionally, the summer trial is pitched as an introduction to regularity rallying. This year, Chesterfield and the Peak District would play host to 80 crews, and for some, the experience would serve as their introduction to the sport, while for others, the rally was an essential warm-up for the year's tougher events still to come. Since MSA rule changes now allow for more modern classics, the field would include machinery ranging from pre-war cars up to 1989.
There's always something you're not expecting. It's a kind of more relaxing event, shall we say. That's like famous last words where Mr. Woodcock's concerned. But it's more relaxing event than Le Jog or Rally Vitesse.
Before the early afternoon start, there's just time enough for a quick peruse of the maps.
First time we did it, we didn't have a trip meter. Second time, we did okay. but we had a mishap where we accidentally switched the fuel pump off during one of the regularities, which was less than ideal. So this time we're hoping none of the above is going to happen.
I think we would both like to be pushing up towards the sharper end of the table, but we say that every year and it's always harder than we think, but we're going to give it a good go.
It looks like a nice, easy sort of run-in today, I would imagine. Teach people how jocularity works. A couple of test rounds, Mr. Perez's rounds as well, which looks interesting.
The summer trial marks the third round of the Hero Cup and Golden Roma Championships and sees the dream team of Gresley and White sitting firmly atop their respective championships.
At the moment, Alice is running first on the Roma, and driver I'm also first. Yeah, we had a lot of luck on the last two rallies. This one, it's everything a little bit about a lot of luck.
If I can get a top 10, that would be fantastic. We did it last year, so got a bit of pressure, but bigger field this year, so looking forward to it.
Well, we did first in class last year, we did 7th in the rally. It was about 60 cars, there's about 80 or so this time round, so it's a tougher field. Yeah, we want a top 10 finish, and we want to do better than 7th.
Well, first time for the summer trial, just freshly back from the Scottish Malts a few weeks ago, so hopefully we'll get around this one. But I'm actually with a novice navigator this time, so we'll have a bit of fun, and hopefully the weather will stay sunnyish. We'll see.
Recalling his former Formula One life was ex-Mercedes team boss Nick Fry, still expecting an army of mechanics to attend to his car.
I think we're ready for it. My hat is particularly ready for it. I stole it from a Pirelli engineer who was here earlier putting the tyre warmers on the car for me, so we're going to be super quick in the first trial.
With the morning's formalities and briefings completed, and armed with enough navigational knowledge to circumnavigate the Earth, it was into the rally proper. Starting at 2 p.m, we would leave the Casa Hotel for a short drive up the road and back to the estate of Steve Perez for the first of 7 tests to be held at the venue. Our 400-mile route over 2.5 days begins with leg 1, which sees us depart Chesterfield and head south to Woolton Lodge for the first test of the day. Then south again past Matlock and Wirksworth to a coffee stop at the village of Osmaston. A loop around Ashbourne then points us back north and up through the Peak District National Park and then onto a final test before returning to the Casa for the overnight halt.
3, 2, 1, go!
The ample private driveways of Woolton Lodge make for an excellent special test to get the rallying off to a flying start. Novices and experienced crews alike were unleashed for an against-the-clock thrash through the stately grounds. Keeping a watchful eye, Steve Perez had left his wizard to oversee proceedings and ensure that no harm came to the pot plants. As the crews tackled the challenge of threading through the manicured grounds, Remington and Evans put down an early marker with a time of 1 minute 9 seconds in their Morgan Plus 8, which was good for second quickest. But heading up the timesheets were Gresley and White in the Orange 911 with a time of 1 minute 7.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, wait.
A gentler pace with accurate timing and navigation is what's needed in order to triumph on regularity sections. And with Test 1 in the bag, crews head for the open road and the first of 2 regularities in quick succession before coffee. Keeping strictly to speed limits, the route takes us through the leafy lanes of northeast Derbyshire, past Ogston Reservoir and on through picturesque hamlets and the village of Cromford, once a significant site during the Industrial Revolution. There was enough water for Nick and Beth Bloxham in their Escort Mexico to make a splash and secure second place on Reg 2. As we continue our journey through the back lanes of the Dales, the appearance of classic cars parading through their neighbourhoods is always a sure draw, garnering approving waves from the locals. Following our novice crew's gentle introduction to regularity rallying, a stop for tea and cakes was in order at the Shoulder of Mutton in the quaint village of Osmaston. Leaving the coffee stop, we turn tail and head back north. A short link road section taking us to the start of Reg 3. The beautiful Derbyshire Dales are our playground once again for the final regularity of the day. As we meander through England's green and pleasant land, Nick Fry and Nick Madge were in a jovial mood in their Aston Martin Le Mans. Gressley and White were pick of the crop on Reg 3 in the orange Arrive and Drive 911. However, further down the road, another Ford had caught one or two crews out.
Plug's fallen off and now something else has gone wrong. It's been an interesting day so far.
Navigating the Ford, the Austin Healey twins found there was some truth in the old adage of safety in numbers. We end the competitive challenges of the day with another blast through the grounds of Walton Lodge, where the Golf GTI of Tony Shiak and Rachel Wakefield negotiated the flower beds with ease for a time of 1 minute 24. As the field streamed through, improving by 1 place from the day's first test, was the very rapid Morgan Plus 8 in the capable hands of Andrew Rimington and John Evans, who posted a time of 1 minute 5, enough to snatch quickest on the test. Having blooded in the newcomers and whet the appetites of the more experienced crews, we arrived back at the Casa Hotel.
A very amusing day. And this man here is happy sitting in the passenger seat while I'm absolutely driving like a lunatic. He's
I'm laughing.
I'm just giggling because it's fun.
I've owned this Dino GT4 for 17 years now. I could never really quite make up my mind what I wanted to do with it. So first of all, it was restored, sort of, as a road car. I used it like that for a while. And then I went into circuit race mode, so it then got turned into a race car and raced in the Ferrari Formula Classic series. In the last 12 months we decided we'd do some regularity rallying, something my wife and I could do together. But I always believe you should try and do an event in an inappropriate vehicle, you know. So no, not the ideal car at all, but we're having fun.
As some relaxed in the traditional fashion, all was not well in the mechanical department for several crews. For Paul Bloxage, mechanical gremlins seem to have made a reappearance for the second rally in a row, though this time on a different 911.
Tell me, are you damaging more 911s?
I suspect it was sort of walking wounded when I got it. Just the near side front strut. I recognise the symptoms. I've had it on my own car, and I just think the strut, the shock absorber part of it, is just starting to go.
We got out of the hotel and into the first parking lay-by with an electrical fault. 15 minutes fixed. Off we went. On the first regularity, our hose came off.
We started the first regularity and the trip meter decided it didn't like any of this rallying stuff and switched itself off.
All our cables are broken down, so we don't have any speedometer, and our trip meter has dropped out as well.
So we've been using basically the car's odometer all the way through, which is not calibrated.
So it's been a great day.
We've only been doing it for 4 hours. It's been great. Yeah, we're still smiling. Yes, I think we're still smiling.
Still smiling. Well, it was really fun. The first test we messed up in our heads. We were like, we're going around this way, and then we got there and went, which way is it? And we went the wrong way. We also didn't realise it was actually a time trial, so we thought we just had to do it between 48 seconds and 2.5 minutes. So, we went rolling along. We were mostly pretty spot on timings, usually certainly within 10 seconds, sometimes we even less. Overall, I think it was a pretty good day. and we were really pleased that everyone had said concentrate on getting the route right and don't worry so much about the timings.
What have you learned, do you think?
Tulip navigation and how to shout at my dad.
As a shorter day one comes to a close, the leaderboard has Tony Shiak and Rachel Wakefield in top spot, with Daniel Gresley and Elise White close behind in second. Tim Lawrence and Adam Tibbs in the MGB GT are in a strong third, but with a chasing pack close on their heels, anything could happen.
I think probably I've got the worst car on the event. It's a new experience, a front-wheel drive Golf GTI 8 valve, which is a bit of a fun thing, and it skedaddles around, it scampers up the road like Penelope pit stop. It's really quick, and it seems to be really easy to navigate with. So as a consequence, Rachel's played a blinder all day. In fact, was it 7 zeros out of 10 on the regularities today, which is fantastic, absolutely amazing.
It's been nerve-wracking at some points with some of the regularities, but it's been impressed with it actually. You've been.
Well, it's my first race, so I've never done it before. Rally.
Day 2 dawns, and at the Casa Hotel, a hearty breakfast kicks off the morning's activities. For crews, there's just enough time to reflect on the results of the previous day's efforts.
So how did you do yesterday?
Perfect. The event we became fourth, so it's unbelievably well. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. Little bit disappointed with our result. However, getting to understand now more the nuances of it all, really.
I had to reverse 300 yards plus because a man with a trailer came around the corner and wouldn't budge, and the control was just around the corner. We lost a whole minute and a bit there. So we're running low in the field, which I wasn't expecting. But otherwise, she's running beautifully and we're having fun. So that's the main thing.
We surprised ourselves because we're usually middle of the road in the numbers, and we're coming at 33 and we're over the moon. No scratches, no hassle, and we're looking forward for another great day.
Well, we had an eventful day. We were going great guns, and then a wire fell off the back of the ignition, which stopped everything. So we had a bit of a half hour's rest while we sorted things out and so replaced fuses and various other things, and then got going again. So we dropped back down through the order a little bit, but had a great day regardless. How the mighty have fallen from 30 mechanics to start the car to me. This is much more fun.
With no ceremonial start today, a simple time control marks the off for the day's competition.
Cheerio. Bye.
Leaving Chesterfield, we head once again for a quick test at Walton Lodge. It's then out into the countryside for the first of the 4 morning's regularities. This part of the route sees us traverse the Peak District to the west of our starting point and take in the very best of the area's scenic delights before doing a U-turn and heading back east through quintessential English villages for the lunch stop at the Peak Edge Hotel. With the first quick test already in the bag, it's straight into Reg 1, which starts on the edge of Longstone Moor. With stunning views towards Bakewell, it makes for a picture-perfect start to the regularity, although navigators rarely get a chance to see the sights with their heads buried deeply in the map books. A link road takes us past the spa town of Buxton into the picturesque Goyt Valley and the Fernley Reservoir, where teams tackle the second regularity. Navigators were challenged even further by the introduction of speed tables. Some mental gymnastics in the sums department was definitely called for. For some, navigation was indeed proving a tricky subject to master. And with timing points tucked away behind what seemed like every stone wall, more than a few crews found themselves taking the odd detour. The very odd detour.
We're going to feature in this video just because we made a mistake, aren't we? Yeah.
Oops, wrong way. As we reach the end of the regularity, coffee is at the Peak View Cafe on the famous Cat and Fiddle Pass, a road much loved by many a motorcyclist for its fast, twisting character.
Very happy with third place, but there are another 4 or 5 regularities, and that can make all the difference. So, you know, we're happy, we're at the top. Unusual for us, but then, you know, we are trying hard. So we really want a good result this time.
We dropped a couple of seconds, but it's been fairly uneventful, really. It's just steady, which is what we want.
It's been a nice run, and I'm trying to be as calm as possible this morning, starting off in first place, but we'll see where we are at the end of the day.
There's no rest for the wicked as the crews leave the coffee stop behind and head off for Regs 3 and 4. Reg 3 passes by another of the area's many reservoirs, complete with their gentle summertime activities, and then continues on through Wadey Bridge and Winnett's Pass. Competitors start regularity sections at timed intervals in order to avoid crews catching up with the car in front. However, link sections are untimed, allowing for the crews to travel in convoys, and for some novice crews, the sight of a fellow competitor ahead is indeed reassuring. Unless, of course, they also happen to be on the wrong road. A pleasant morning spent exploring the Dales brings us to a welcome lunch at the Peak Edge Hotel.
I think the biggest challenge we've all had this weekend is traffic. It just happens to be a nice warm sunny weekend in Derbyshire. So it does make it a bit of lottery on the regularity as to whether you get held up or not. And also trying to drive respectfully and follow the highway code. But I think everyone's having a good time. We're having a great time.
Yeah, it's a great event. It's Beth's first ever time on a rally, never mind in the navigator's seat, so she's doing a great job. Yeah, just got to keep going and get to the end now, hopefully.
As an ace route planner yourself, what do you think of the route?
I think it's brilliant. It's a fantastic maze of lanes up here that Daniel's used to great effect. Yeah, really good. Brilliant route.
Absolutely fabulous. And if I knew how all the tulips work, it would be so much easier.
It's not that good today because we dropped 4 places. We thought we were doing good, but...
Was that the driver's fault?
There was a driver's fault, yes, actually. But it was my fault as well, so we did it together.
Well, if I listened to my navigator even more, it'd be better. We've had one error where we stopped and discussed whether we should make the turning or not.
Did we discuss?
Yeah, you told me I should turn right.
Thank you very much.
Leg 2's afternoon adventures take us from lunch on to Walton Lodge for test 2 of the day, then back westward through Bakewell, taking in the villages of Waterhouses and Butterton to explore even more of the Peak District. We then head eastwards again, en route back to base at Chesterfield. The second test of the day at Walton Lodge, and whilst some crews narrowly avoid a bit of grass cutting, others were making the most of the opportunity to put in some quick times. Topping the timesheets in their Escort Mexico were Nick and Beth Bloxham, who managed a time of 1 minute 19. They were closely followed by the ever-present Gressley and White in the Arrive and Drive 911 for second quickest, while the Dutch pairing of Laurens van der Velde and Jenny van der Boel placed third in their Escort RS 2000. And as the rest of the crews filed through the test, we leave Walton for the time being and head once more out onto the open road where England's glorious landscape beckons. 2 regularities this afternoon will keep our crews busy as we again explore the narrow lanes just south of Buxton. The route takes us back past Peak Edge and onto Beeley Moor. The Lotus Cortina of Dalton and Faulkner aced this first reg of the afternoon, claiming top marks. Despite Beth Bloxham not having navigated before, she and husband Nick were putting in a fine performance in their yellow Escort, placing them well up the field. That yellow Escort seems to get everywhere. Whoever thought regularity rallying could be such a spectator sport? Another link section leads us to the final regularity of the day.
Now you're a tough lot, aren't you? Why? T-shirts, top of the hill. Do you like that? 10 seconds. Well, have I got anything in common?
The brakes on this are cable rod and drums, so it takes a bit of a push. But apart from that, we're fine. Oh, and a couple of blisters. Too many gear changes.
Still deep in the rural countryside of the Peak District National Park, view after view opened up. By now, our intrepid travellers had seen more of the Peak District than they had ever thought possible. Reg 6 promised to be a slightly trickier puzzle for navigators, with the route planners throwing in a few hidden gems to keep crews on their toes. Prime farming land this, and if it's not day trippers or cyclists, it's flocks of sheep, adding that extra bit of spice for the clock watchers. A seemingly never-ending maze of country lanes, sometimes baffled, sometimes bemused. And sometimes it was, if in doubt, follow another Porsche. done with a magical mystery tour that was Regs 5 and 6, we finished the day off with 2 more tests in the grounds of Walton Lodge. These last 2 tests of the day would see crews take on 2 different routes through the estate. As usual, the finishing times were incredibly tight and the competition fiercer than ever. With the test over, we returned to base at the Casa Hotel.
Plenty of grip on the tests. Take all the gears in the right order.
All the gears
all
in
the
the
gears
right
in the right
order.
order.
5 in a row.
5 in a row. I got a standing ovation for that.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's been trying to select the right gear out of the gearbox.
We haven't struggled with the traffic as much as we thought we would.
We've been really lucky with one minor balk, but that's all. You can't complain. Other people have had much, much worse.
It was great fun, fantastic route. We had a lot of fun. I think we slipped a few places backwards, unfortunately, with the just one slight slip. But that's the way rallying goes.
Today has been a really interesting day. We've been so lucky with traffic. The weather's been fantastic. The roads have been amazing, and we've managed to creep up to first. And we're now first by 18 seconds, which is quite a bit in the world of rallying. We've just got to try and keep it tomorrow.
We're on 6th place. We were on 4th yesterday. We went to 8th this morning. On 10th when we came back, and now we're 6th again. Wow.
Today's been really, really good. We've had an excellent morning, not so good afternoon, but we've still gone up 10 places today, so we've gone up from 15 to 5, so I'm very, very happy with the results today.
A few mistakes which have dropped us down the leaderboard, but
fewer than yesterday, maybe. Yeah, that's the hope.
One day we'll get it all right on every one.
Each day.
Let's hope so.
We hope it's soon.
Our ambition was to be in the top half. We've got some work to do tomorrow. That's all I'd say.
No, I'm just talking to the wife. He's just getting these instructions from his supervisor as to what to do tomorrow.
So at the end of day 2, Daniel Gressley and Elise White have snatched the lead from Tony Shiak and Rachel Wakefield, while Paul Bloxich and Ian Canavan are third, but on the same points as the second place pairing. As night falls on the penultimate day of the summer trial, the Après Rally gets into full swing. As the tails get taller, some summer rain begins to fall on the Casa Hotel. But who knows what the climax of the summer trial will be tomorrow. Sunday morning dawns and another hearty breakfast is consumed in preparation for the final day's competition. Today would in fact be a short day, yet no less taxing on the crews as they drive out onto the moors once more. So how has the experience been for the newcomers?
Well, it's our first time. We're learning, shall we say. It's a learning experience. We're getting better every day, and we're hoping today will be the climax of our week.
We're learning from our mistakes, and we're thoroughly enjoying ourselves along the way. So yes, a good rally. I've got an MGB Roadster. We've had it for nearly 20 years, and it's doing a sterling job for us.
For a farmer, this is a very elegant car.
Thank you very much. Well, it's considering it spent part of its life running around the farm, rounding up cattle and sheep, it's not looking too bad, is it? Mind you, not under my ownership. My late father. Yes, it was his multi-purpose car.
What does nadgery mean? It's difficult, tricky. Yeah. There you are, see? Tricky. Nadgery, a new word in my dictionary.
With no early morning tests, we get straight into the regularities. Day 3's route sets off again from the Casa Hotel, this time heading northwest and skirting past Sheffield and across the Hallam Moors. Continuing north, we pass by Stocksbridge and Penistone before turning southwest and back into the Peak District National Park. From Glossop, we then embark on the long trek south for a final set of 2 tests at Walton Lodge before the finish in Chesterfield. Reg 1 and the route planners have already thrown teams a devious curveball, with car after car falling foul at this particular tricky junction. There was no let-up for navigators as teams were plunged into 4 regularities in a row, albeit with a quick splash and dash coffee stop in between. In this part of the world, one country lane seems to merge into the next, and each stunning view really does lead to yet another. And Nadgery, indeed it was. Driver Ed Abbott seemed a little uncertain of the length of his Jag. Holmfirth. As we skirt past Holmfirth, we were truly in last of the summer wine country, with Holmfirth being the popular television show's hometown. Navigation was getting trickier by the mile, and grassy triangles played havoc with our weary crews. Being one of England's most beautiful areas, the Peak District is a magnet for day trippers, cyclists, walkers and classic car enthusiasts. But all seem to share the countryside with ease. However, there we all were, having a pleasant Sunday afternoon drive when what seemed like 1,000 mobile chicanes showed up, just to add to the challenge.
Just seen Ian Canavan, wrong slot.
Apparently you've done the wrong slots?
No, Gary, that's incorrect. Where did you get the information from? Another orange car somewhere, I think. It wasn't us.
Finally, free of all those bikes, we continued to head south. By late morning, we find ourselves travelling south on the final stretch of our journey. Heading for the famous Devil's Elbow, we swing through Glossop and traverse the notorious Snake Pass. With Lady Bower Reservoir in the distance, the final regularity of the event skirts the very edge of Hallam Moors. With the open roads element of the competition finally completed, teams return for the last time to Walton Lodge and the final brace of tests, rounding the event off with one last blast. And finally, the finish at the Casa Hotel, the site where it all began, welcomes back our exhilarated cruise.
Great fun. Very, very good. Really enjoyed it.
We learned loads. We had a great day today. I hope the results will reflect that.
It's been great, it's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of it.
It was great fun, and since she's navigator and boss, she told me to enjoy it, which I did. So that's super.
It was really good, yeah. Really enjoyed it. It's been a brilliant event.
Better than being at school on Friday anyway.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
We've had a brilliant time, haven't we?
Yeah.
The organisation from Hero has been absolutely superb, I would say. The company has been fantastic, the roads have been great, and we've been blessed, especially today, with just wonderful weather. So, you know, I think the main problem has been how to stop smiling, because we've had such a wonderful time. Do you agree?
I agree, yeah, absolutely brilliant time. Definitely be back.
Two very happy blondes here, and rally driving is going to be my next hobby. Sailing, skiing, and now rally driving. God help the world.
All in all, you know, I think we've done as well as we could have done, particularly with a brand new car, which frankly I couldn't drive.
So now we're just waiting for results because Mr. Woodcock's teasing me. So we'll wait and see. It's been a bit of an interesting rally. I mean, on the first day we did hit a cone, which wasn't a good start, but we were positive, weren't we? And yesterday we managed to have a fantastic day. This morning we thought it was all going to change because we got stuck with loads of bikes and all of that, but yeah, we managed to pull through.
Yeah. So the dream team strikes again. Daniel Gressley and Elise White take top spot, while Tony Shiak and Rachel Wakefield, after a flying start, slip to second. Creeping up on the blind side were Nigel Perkins and Pete Johnson, just jumping Paul Bloxage and Ian Canavan to snatch third.
and congratulations to everybody who's taken part, because I don't know, this was hard, but it was also a lot of fun, and yeah, I can't wait to do another.
Daniel Gressley holds firmly onto the top spot for the Hero Cup, with Paul Bloxich and Bill Kleindert also in the hunt for honours. Elise White's lead is challenged by the chasing pack of Andrew Durden, Pete Johnson in Canavan and Richard Lambley.
EFG Private Bank is really delighted to be involved with Hero. The rallies they organise couldn't be more fantastic. We always have amazing feedback from clients who've just had the best time, and they've made wonderful friends and they've met the right people. And for us, it's great. We have some fantastic branding here on everything that's been around, and EFG is committed to being involved in classic cars and is really supportive of it. We're just delighted. We think it's a great thing, and everybody seems to have a really great time while they're here, and that's the main thing. It's really important.
So at the moment we're at the top, but we do have the marathon coming up, which could completely change it, because that's a long event and a tough event. So at the moment it all looks good, but it could all still change.
Yeah, and it's a long way to go, and there are many other crews behind us who are pushing.
Join us next time as the battle continues in Greece with the running of the 27th Classic Marathon.